Welcome to English Story Bubbles. Your next story begins now. Let's go. Elizabeth Tudor was born on September 7, 1533, at Greenwich Palace in England. She was the daughter of King Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn, the king's second wife. Elizabeth's birth was a major event, but it did not bring joy to everyone. King Henry had hoped for a son to continue his royal line. Many people in England believed a woman could not be a strong ruler. When Elizabeth was born, some were disappointed because she was not a boy. Still, Elizabeth was made a princess and treated like royalty. Her mother, Anne Boleyn, was clever, ambitious, and proud. She loved Elizabeth dearly and believed her daughter would be great. However, Anne's relationship with the king became weaker over time. Henry wanted a male heir, and Anne could not give him one. In 1536, when Elizabeth was just 2 years old, her mother was arrested and later executed. Elizabeth lost her title as princess and was now called Lady Elizabeth. Her place in the royal family became uncertain. She was still the king's daughter, but she no longer lived in the royal court. Despite her mother's fate, Elizabeth received a very good education. Her tutors were some of the most intelligent men of the time. She studied Latin, Greek, French, Italian, music, history, philosophy, and religion. Elizabeth was a very curious and intelligent child. She asked many questions and remembered everything she learned. Her teachers were amazed by how fast she understood difficult subjects. One of her greatest influences was her stepmother, Catherine Parr, King Henry's sixth wife. Catherine encouraged Elizabeth to read and learn. She also helped Elizabeth reconnect with her father. In 1547, King Henry VIII died. Elizabeth's half-brother, Edward VI, became king at the age of 9. Elizabeth was 13 years old and watched closely as the country changed again. Edward was a Protestant, and during his reign, Protestant ideas spread across England. Elizabeth was careful to appear loyal to her brother's faith. She wanted to avoid conflict and stay safe. When Edward died in 1553, a new crisis began. Lady Jane Grey was made queen for just 9 days. Then, Elizabeth's half-sister Mary, a Catholic, took the throne. Queen Mary believed Elizabeth was a danger to her rule. She suspected Elizabeth of helping Protestant rebels. Elizabeth was arrested and taken to the Tower of London. The Tower was a frightening place, where many people had died. Elizabeth stayed there for 2 months, not knowing if she would live or die. She stayed calm and denied all charges against her. Eventually, there was no proof against her. Mary released Elizabeth but kept her under close watch. Elizabeth lived quietly in the countryside and kept her opinions to herself. Mary ruled for 5 years but had no children. When she died in 1558, Elizabeth became queen. She was 25 years old and ready to lead England. Her first days as queen were not easy. England was divided by religion, and the economy was weak. Elizabeth needed to bring peace and stability to her country. One of her first actions was to solve the religious problem. She created the Elizabethan religious settlement. It made England officially Protestant but allowed some Catholic traditions. Elizabeth became the head of the Church of England. This helped her gain control and avoid civil war. Many people accepted the new compromise. She chose smart advisors to help her govern. Her most trusted one was William Cecil, later known as Lord Burleigh. He helped her make good decisions for the country. Elizabeth also used her intelligence and charm in politics. She listened carefully, thought deeply, and acted wisely. She became known for her patience and self-control. Many people expected Elizabeth to marry. Kings and princes from across Europe sent her offers. But she did not accept any of them. She said she was married to her people. She believed that staying single gave her more power. Some say she loved Robert Dudley, her childhood friend, but chose her crown over romance. Elizabeth understood that marriage to a foreign prince could cause problems. It might give power to another country or create enemies. By remaining single, she kept her authority. This choice made her unique. People began calling her the Virgin Queen. She turned her decision into part of her image. As years passed, Elizabeth proved to be a strong and wise ruler. She kept the country safe from civil war. She balanced religion, politics, and personal power carefully. Her reign became known as the Elizabethan Age. It was a time of peace, exploration, and art. England grew in power and confidence under her leadership. After Elizabeth became queen, she worked hard to strengthen her country. She listened to her advisors but made her own decisions. She ruled with intelligence, caution, and grace. One of the biggest challenges Elizabeth faced was from Spain. Spain was a powerful Catholic country, and its king, Philip II, had once been married to Elizabeth's sister, Mary. He did not support Elizabeth and wanted England to return to Catholicism. Philip sent many messages asking Elizabeth to marry him, but she refused. Over time, tensions grew between the two countries. Religion, politics, and trade all played a part. English ships began attacking Spanish ships at sea. Some of these ships carried gold from the New World. Philip saw this as a threat and started to prepare an invasion. In 1588, Spain sent a great fleet of warships to attack England. This fleet was called the Spanish Armada. People in England were afraid of invasion and war. Elizabeth went to speak to her army. She wore armor and rode a white horse. She gave a strong and famous speech to inspire the soldiers. She said, "I know I have the body of a weak and feeble woman, but I have the heart and stomach of a king." Her words showed courage and leadership. The people believed in her. With the help of strong winds, the English navy defeated the Armada. Many Spanish ships were lost in storms. The victory made Elizabeth even more respected and loved. After this, England felt stronger and more confident. Elizabeth had protected her country and its religion. Her leadership in this moment became legendary. During her reign, England also became a land of culture and exploration. This was the time of William Shakespeare, Christopher Marlowe, and many other writers. Theatres became popular, and the arts flourished. Elizabeth loved music, poetry, and drama. She supported artists and helped them grow. The English Renaissance became one of the brightest periods in cultural history. Explorers like Sir Francis Drake and Sir Walter Raleigh sailed across the seas. They found new lands and brought back goods and knowledge. England began to grow as a world power. Elizabeth enjoyed hearing about new places and people. She encouraged trade and travel. She wanted England to become strong through knowledge and adventure. But ruling a country was not always joyful. Elizabeth faced plots against her life. Some people wanted to replace her with her cousin, Mary, Queen of Scots. Mary was a Catholic and had a claim to the English throne. She was seen as a threat by Elizabeth's advisors. After many years of keeping Mary under watch, Elizabeth finally agreed to her execution. This was a difficult decision. Elizabeth signed the paper, but she felt sad and guilty. It showed that being queen was not only about power, it was also about hard choices. As Elizabeth grew older, life became more difficult. Many of her close friends and advisors passed away. She was alone more often and grew tired. She still worked every day, reading reports and meeting officials. But she became quieter and more serious. Her court said she sometimes sat in silence, thinking deeply. She had no children and no chosen heir. People began to wonder who would rule after her. In the end, Elizabeth chose James VI of Scotland, the son of Mary, Queen of Scots. James was Protestant and promised to rule wisely. When Elizabeth died in 1603, James became King James I of England. The Tudor dynasty ended, and the Stuart dynasty began. Elizabeth died at the age of 69. She had ruled England for 45 years. Her reign was one of the longest and most important in English history. The people mourned her deeply. Bells rang across the land. Crowds gathered to say goodbye to their queen. She was buried in Westminster Abbey. Her grave lies next to her sister Mary. Though they were very different, they are now remembered side by side. Elizabeth left a powerful legacy. She had ruled without a husband or a child, yet her strength shaped a nation. She gave her people peace, pride, and identity. People still remember her as Gloriana or Good Queen Bess. Statues, books, films, and paintings keep her memory alive. Her name stands for courage, wisdom, and national pride. Her time on the throne helped create the foundation of modern England. Her vision gave space for art, discovery, and education. She turned difficulty into opportunity. Elizabeth I proved that a woman could rule alone. She earned the respect of kings, nobles, and common people. She used her mind and heart to lead, not just a crown. Today, students across the world learn her story. Her speeches, her strength, and her legacy still inspire. Elizabeth I is not just part of English history, she is part of world history. What did you think of the story? Share your thoughts in the comments below.